It looks like this woman is single, but she has feelings for someone. She is looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner? They made a perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a way. She was pretty and he...
Well?
He's a bright man, with a promising career ahead of him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous. Oh, a true gentleman.
I hear a note of envy in your voice.
You must have heard wrong.
Donald appeared to be very much in love with your sister.
Yes, he was mad about her.
Mad, you say? Being madly in love can often be destructive, and Mr. Fraser was known for being jealous, I believe.
No more than average. Men are always slightly possessive, especially when they are with a pretty woman.
I am not your enemy, Mademoiselle Bernard.
And you are not my friend either, Mr. Poirot, sir.
Yes, but your lies are not helping Mr. Fraser, or you for that matter. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Protect him? I hope you're not suggesting...
That you are Fraser's accomplice? There is nothing to suggest that, at least not yet. It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man. Slightly reserved, too. And as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago. But they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day...
Well?
He'd commit murder.
Do you think that is what happened?
No, Mr. Poirot, I don't believe that. You yourself said he may be a recidivist madman. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
Very good, Mademoiselle Bernard. Thank you for your help.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Let's see him now. Au revoir, mademoiselle. My deepest condolences to your aunt.
Of course, Mr. Poirot. And don't be too hard on Don. He's more fragile than he looks.
If you say so. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Hastings always pays more attention when young women are being questioned.
Miss...
You've seen Fraser, Hastings. What is your feeling?
He's a big chap. Fragile isn't exactly the word that springs to mind. I talked to his landlady before seeing him. She went to bed at 11. Fraser wasn't home yet.
Bien. Megan Barnard said he's a reserved character but with a nasty temper. We will see if this is the case. Hastings looks ill at ease. He really doesn't like Fraser. How do you do, Mr. Fraser?
You Hercule Poirot? Mr. Hastings said you wanted to speak to me.
Yes. I know that it may not be the right time, but I would like to ask you a few questions. This man looks suspicious. Donald Fraser is in a terrible state, as if he hadn't slept all night. And he's drinking White Horse.
Leave me alone. Tell me that it's a mistake. That Betty isn't dead.
Sadly, your lady friend has been murdered, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, Betty, if only you'd listened.
Did you visit Betty yesterday afternoon?
No, I haven't seen Betty for 2 days. I was at the office yesterday afternoon.
Can you prove that?
Of course. But why this question? Betty died yesterday evening, didn't she?
Yesterday, a guest came to the Gin Cat alone and ordered a White Horse whiskey, and by the look of it, you also appear to be fond of this brand.
Yes, it's a good whiskey and not cheap. I only drink it on special occasions. Or tragic ones.
I understand. Do you know what Betty's plans were yesterday evening?
She said she was having dinner with her sister.
And you believed her?
And why not, sir? She was my fiancée.
That did not stop her from lying to you before. Betty was not a bad girl, but she did like to take advantage of her success with men.
How dare you sully her memory?
Please excuse me if I appear to be brutal. I understand that this is a difficult time for you.
So you understand why I don't feel like talking, Mr. Poirot?
Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Poirot. I thought the victim's young man was here.
Yes, he's all yours, Chief Inspector. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Fraser doesn't have an alibi and he's extremely jealous.
You are very skilled at summing up.
And yet you haven't asked Jack to arrest him.
It is too soon. But I agree, without the letters announcing the crimes, Fraser would already be behind bars. Bon, I think we have enough evidence. Let's reconstruct the events at the scene of the crime.
I can't imagine how the murderer wasn't seen, though. Surely she must have struggled.
Let us try and imagine the scene. The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 6. Miss Betty enters the hut. She leaves without her belongings. Then she hides a coat. They keep walking. Then she removes her belt.
The murderer moves behind her and then attacks her by surprise. The body falls, lifeless, on the sand.
Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened. Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser. By timing his crimes, the murderer is making sure he's accused. In a way, it is very generous of him.
Generous? The murderer seduced Betty in order to lure her to the beach and kill her.
Indeed, the young woman was certainly careless, but not stupid enough to follow a stranger.
What are you planning to do, Poirot?
Return to London, mon cher Hastings. Right, back to London. There is nothing more for us to do here.
Chap has decided to reveal details to the press. The alphabet murder is now famous.
It is not a bad idea. The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad feeling. Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC. Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game, a challenge. He will strike on 30th in Churston. We must warn Scotland Yard. No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately. Miss Hastings tore the envelope. I lock my revolver in this drawer. I've... Daily Flicker, July 30, 1935. ABC affair, no progress. The alphabet murderer is still on the run. Ever since the police found connection between the Bexhill and Andover affairs, the inquiry has barely progressed. In this issue, we are publishing Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Hello, chap. We received a new letter from ABC in the 10 o'clock post.
Where and when?
In Churston. Today.
Today? I'll inform the population immediately.
I'll check the train times. Call me back. Hastings, what you are doing is an absolute disaster. That is no way to pack suitcases.
Heavens, we must hurry! We have to get to Churston before the murder!
Hastings' order and method are always necessary, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay, okay. I'll let you pack them.
All the same, it really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess. Voila! It only took a minute.
Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't leave till 11:45.
You see, there is no need to hurry. We will not be in Churston until tomorrow morning, after the murder.
But why has the murderer warned us so late? It's not what he usually does. Did he do it on purpose?
Very good question, Hastings. We should also compare the letter we have just received with the other two. Although I have very little doubt about what we will find. We've missed the 6:45 train, but we have plenty of time to catch the night train. Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag. Right, let us compare this new letter with the second one. Let us examine this more closely. Certain characters in the two letters may have the W is not printed properly. Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Let us examine the characters in this word. Yes, this I is weird. However, the characters in the two words do not match. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects. Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual. That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address, which explains the delay. All the same, the post office took their time correcting the error.
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard. Poirot, the telephone. It must be Jap.
I have some news from Churston. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London. A wealthy man, he retired to Combside, a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train. The victim is called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat specialists in London. The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friend. I will come soon. This place is very calming. The site is exceptional. It is easy to imagine that Sir Carmichael used to enjoy stopping here every evening. The body is just in front of a bush, one of the only bushes in the surrounding area. Jap has emptied the victim's pockets and has laid out their contents on this piece of wax cloth. A signet ring, very probably with the Clark family's coat of arms. Nothing appears to be missing from this wallet. An oriental dragon. It's an old piece, much older than a pocket. It is pointless. Sir Carmichael's throat was cut. It's a clean incision, professional murder. Apart from the wound to the throat, the body is untouched. No cuts, no bruises. An ABC guide, the murderer's customary signature, covered in blood this time. The gravel on path has been sprayed with blood that covers a conical-shaped area, which starts at the body and becomes wider as it moves further from the bush. The vegetation behind the bush has been trampled. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Sir Carmichael had his back to the bush when the killer cut the throat from behind. A fatal blow that sprayed blood over a range of more than... Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Have you finished, Poirot?
Chief Inspector, many questions remain unanswered, but I am certain of one thing. The killer is a daring opportunist. He met Sir Carmichael at nightfall on this deserted path and took advantage of the situation.
Impossible. You forget the trampled grass behind the bush.
Ah, c'est vrai. It proved that he was waiting for his victim.
Quite right. He must have known Sir Carmichael's movements well to plan such an attack.
This time, theft may have been the motive for the crime.
Theft? But we found a wallet full of banknotes on the body and a watch worth at least £50.
Certes. I had forgotten these details, so we can exclude the theory of theft. Have you spoken to the victim's family, Chief Inspector?
I've spoken to the brother, Franklin Clark. I didn't get much out of him. He's yours. I must get the body removed.
I had better go up to campsite.
To be honest, this inspector seems rather obtuse. I'm counting on your friend Poirot to catch my brother's murderer. Ah, here he is now. Please, Mr. Poirot. Mr. Poirot, this is my brother's secretary, Miss Thora Gray.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Poirot. Would you like some tea?
No thank you, mademoiselle. I find it hard to digest. There is something very viril about him. Franklin Clark is an adventurer, a sort of man that women like. Hastings does not like variety. He's going to blow on his cup for a good while before drinking. There is something elegant about her. She has good taste, except perhaps in her choice of jewelry.
Please excuse me, I have to take care of Lady Clark.
It is not the right time. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to question him.
My brother's wife is gravely ill. You will probably want to question her, but I fear that it won't be possible today.
Of course, I understand. Someone set a trap for your brother. Who was familiar with his habits?
Everybody knew he took his evening walk at 8:30, and that he always followed the same path.
Everybody, including you?
Naturally.
What were you doing last night?
After dinner, I went to my bedroom. At 11 in the evening, the telephone rang. It was the police. I went to look for my brother.
Was it a dark night?
It was a new moon. I took a lantern.
So it was you who found the body.
Yes, along with the gardener.
Have you seen any strangers around the house recently?
No. As far as I know, nobody has been near the house.
Miss Clark.
Oh, Lady Clark must have fallen from her chair. I have to help Miss Grey get her up.
Hastings, while our host is gone, let's examine the drawing room.
Poirot, a gentleman shouldn't...
I take full responsibility. All you have to do is to leave the drawing room door ajar and let me know if anyone is coming. A turtle. Dragon, dragon, dragon. Sir Carmichael showed himself to be very consistent in his collection's theme. It is an emperor. His place at the center of the table is probably symbolic. A crane? A tiger? Comside's private collection, purchased since 1920. The catalogue for Sir Carmichael Clark's collection. A dragon. Compass, point to the south. Bronze and magnetite. There are some very valuable objects here. Sir Carmichael's collection could rival that of a major museum. It's locked. The cardinal points. This book could maybe help me. Each cardinal point is associated with one animal and one color. In the middle sits the imperial dragon, and out of respect, all the others are turned towards him. turtle, the dragon, the crane and the tiger. I think I've already seen this motif somewhere. The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table. The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table. The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table. The position of each motif. I think I heard a bang. Could it be this cupboard? This is interesting. These daggers are only ceremonial weapons. I do not think the crime weapon is here. Ernest Logan, MD, Brighton Cancer Institute, 201 Dusk. Lady Clark, your wife is suffering from a generalized terminal cancer. I confess I didn't suspect anything like that during the first exams. I estimate that Lady Clark's life expectancy is no more than 1 year. Hospitalization would not help in her case, so I advise you to keep her at home and provide her with as much morphine as...
Here's Miss Gray.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Lady Clark's condition requires regular care. I believe you want to ask me a few questions.
Indeed, mademoiselle. This porcelain is remarkable. Is it old?
It's about 3 centuries old, I believe. Wait, let me find the reference.
She appears to be very flustered. She's unable to hide her emotion, and her makeup has been disturbed. I think that this young woman has just been kissed.
Here? Teapot with Black Dragon, Gangshi period, end of the 17th century.
You have a good knowledge of her.
Acquired while working with Sir Carmichael. I used to help him manage his collection and choose his new acquisitions.
And sometimes, he used to give you a piece as a gift. Is that right?
Gift? What do you mean?
I am referring to your brooch.
This old brooch?
Mademoiselle, you know perfectly well. I am talking about the magnificent brooch you were wearing earlier.
Yes, you're right. Sir Carmichael did give it to me. He valued my work. How could I refuse? He would have been offended.
Why have you taken it off?
I don't understand, Mr. Poirot.
Have you seen any strangers hanging around in the past few days?
No. Nobody has been near Comside.
Tell me what happened last night.
After dinner? Well, I did some sewing and then I went to bed. I was woken by the telephone at 11. I heard Franklin Clark speaking with the gardener. They left with some lanterns and they found the body.
Why do you hate Franklin Clark?
But why would I hate him?
Miss Grey, if I may be so bold, please do not take offence. My friend has rather unusual methods, but all he wants is to find the murderer.
Yes, I understand. I must rest. Please excuse me.
Earlier, you asked me to watch the living room door for you. I don't wish to be indiscreet, but sometimes a gentleman stumbles upon a secret without intending to.
That is sometimes the case.
And I saw Franklin Clark kissing Miss Grey at the foot of the stairs.
Do you think this is a common occurrence?
No, I saw emotion, intensity. I think it was their first kiss.
Well done, mon ami. Well spotted.
However, I don't think I completely understand this business. Why did Sir Carmichael not defend himself? He appeared to have been active and strong.
The murderer did not give him a chance. Let us try and reconstruct the scene. Sir Clark is taking his customary walk. Our killer is hiding behind a bush. The old man walks quietly along the graveled path. Then turns towards the sea to gaze at it. The killer leaves his hiding place on the right-hand side. He approaches silently over the grass. Then he throws himself on his prey and cuts the poor man's throat. He then lays down the ABC before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
Oh, just a minute. I'm getting dressed.
Mr. Curse, have you recently returned from Churston?
Yes. Indeed I have.
Have you seen the papers? And to think that you might have rubbed shoulders with the killer. Imagine that. Mr. Cust, are you all right? You don't seem well.
My apologies. My throat is burning. My head feels heavy. It's ever since the war, you know. Since my injury, my head has never been the same.
Poirot, it's a pleasure to be with you again after all these years. I looked for a gift to thank you, and I found this propelling pencil.
An authentic collector's item. You spoil me, mon ami.
And you more so by sharing investigations.
Do not underestimate the help you are to me, Hastings. Intellect is not everything. There is also goodwill, and you are not short of that. Later, I will ask you to help me tidy up the room and bring some chairs. Our guest will be here soon.
Ah, is Thora Grey coming?
Naturally. She is a fascinating young woman, n'est-ce pas?
Oh, come on, Poirot. I'm a married man. And Miss Grey has already been courted by Franklin Clark. Poirot, our guests will be here soon. We must prepare ourselves.
I should take advantage of the silence to examine them. I ought to concentrate on my guests. Franklin Clark always seems at ease, regardless of what he is. Something that's unique to people who travel. I should take advantage of the silence to examine them. Franklin Clark always seems at ease. Donald is always on edge. Donald Fraser is very nervous at the moment, even if he's trying hard to control himself. She appears to have taken more care with her appearance than the last time. She's looking at Mr. Fraser out of the corner of her eye. Did she make herself beautiful for him? The song says, "Sometimes I love a blonde who comes from Eden by way of Sweden." But I'm not sure that this blonde is a name. Sometimes I love a brunette, sometimes I love a blonde. That's what the song says. I wish to thank you all for coming. I wanted to bring everyone close to the victims here in order to unmask the murderer.
Get to the point, Mr. Poirot. What do you want from us?
Megan, dear girl, please be patient.
Miss Poirot, how dare you address me by my first name?
Please excuse me, mademoiselle. What I ask is that you search your memories. The murderer must have left some trace.
Yes, he must have prepared his crimes very carefully.
Tout à fait. He did not get to Bexhill at midnight in order to strangle a young girl whose name, by chance, starts with B.
Must we go into that?
Mr. Fraser, please get a grip on yourself.
Well, I want to help you, but I don't remember anything else. Nothing I haven't already said.
And you, Mademoiselle Barnard, did your sister say she was seeing another man?
She never would have told me.
Why would she hide the fact from you?
Betty knew I didn't approve of her behavior. Her flirting was spoiling any chance she might have had.
Tell me, mademoiselle, what did you talk about with your sister?
Silly things. Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother bought her a brand new pair. The day it happened, she was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
Your sister used to sing, I believe. Did she ever perform in public?
She dreamt about it, but she had a very bad cough. It troubled her greatly. She had to cancel auditions and miss lots of opportunities. A pity.
Yes, she sang well, but that doesn't tell us much about them.
Qui sait? In any case, we now have enough information to draw up a relatively precise psychology. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can now surmise without too much risk of error that our adversary is calculative, sure of himself, a seducer of outstanding intelligence, that he has plenty of self-control, and that he lies. It's a good start. Other meetings may be necessary. I hope that you will be able to come back again.
Well, it's just that...
Is something bothering you, Mary?
Well, Mr. Poirot, you see, I don't know if I can come to London just like that.
It's normal that people helping with this inquiry should be reimbursed. Starting with you, Miss Drower, please allow me to pay for your train ticket.
Oh, sir, I cannot accept.
But you must. Mademoiselle, I may not be rich, but my brother left a fortune which will be mine.
Mr. Clark, that's very generous of you.
Well, someone has to foot the bill. Mr. Poirot, would it be possible for you to come back to Devon? Lady Clark has expressed a wish to see you. We'll adjust her medicine so she'll not be too drowsy.
But of course, I shall come the day after tomorrow if it is convenient. Thank you all for coming. We will meet again soon. The meeting was most fruitful.
Really?
Hastings, I believe now we have everything we need to find a common point between the victims. Now it is time for us to use our grey matter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to... first two victims suffered from bad throat, and that was precisely the specialty of the third victim, Dr. Clark.
We have a lead.
It would pay to take a closer look at the medical records of Dr. Clark's patients.
We'll do so during our next visit to Churston.
I will do it myself, mon ami. You must remain in London just in case ABC sends us another letter.
Very well, as you wish.